Hey, this is your host, Toshiba Davis. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a published author, and I like to call myself a cultivator of communication and insight initiator. Welcome to the From Stress to Rest podcast, where we will talk about various stressors in life that at some point we all have experienced, such as anxiety, fear, business failure, relationship challenges. But ultimately, we will identify what peace is in the midst of those experiences and how to maintain peace with practical steps, with encouragement and insightfulness on living this thing called life. Welcome to From Stress to Rest. Hey, friends. Thank you for joining me on this episode 7 of From Stress to Rest podcast. And the topic for this month is doubt. The definition of doubt from dictionary.com is a feeling of uncertainty or lack of conviction. From merriam-webster.com, the definition is to be uncertain about something or to believe that something may not be true or is unlikely. Now, as we know, doubt can show up in different ways, such as doubting oneself, doubting one's ability to accomplish or complete something. We can also have a doubt or uncertainty in others. I mean, some of us, or a lot of us, or most of us have probably experienced something in the past where someone in our life has let us down. Therefore, we have a lack of conviction or trust in those particular people, or how much we give to others, or how much we open up to others. But how about doubting God? Have any of you friends ever doubted God? The one we call on and praise as the creator of the universe, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who holds everything in his hands. Please know it is okay to be fully transparent and honest, and I will go first. I have doubted God before, feeling as if he wouldn't come through because things haven't happened the way I expected, or my quote unquote change hasn't come yet. And those of you who have been in that space may know that sometimes when things that we're going through, or the frustration and the discomfort hasn't changed yet, and it's been longer than we were hoping, that doubt can set in. So on this particular podcast, friends, I'm going to be going over a few tips. First, of overcoming doubting of ourselves, rising over doubt, and overcoming doubt of God. So first, I will start off with doubting ourselves. The first step is to know our worth. We must identify what messages we are taking in. Are we taking in messages from family, friends, media, social media, commercials, everything else? When we pull on those sources, when we get those messages from those sources, how we should be, how we should act, or how we should even look, we then begin to doubt ourselves in some type of way, or feeling that we can't measure up. Therefore, in those situations, we must gain our self-worth from our maker. The late, great Miles Monroe has an awesome quote. He says, when the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. How will we know our purpose or worth of something if we don't consult the maker? It is very imperative that we seek God on our worth, who created us and knows our purpose, who knows our ins and outs. So first, on overcoming doubt of self, we need to know our worth. Second, we must refuse to compare ourselves to others. Again, we live in a world where there is constant comparisons, constant measurements. This world measures everything: looks, money, success, relationships. So refusing to compare ourselves. One way to refuse to compare, or to stop comparing ourselves, is to remind ourselves that our journey is our journey. Your journey is your journey. Our journey is not going to be like your friends, even your parents, your siblings, somebody you went to school with. We each have our own journey. And you know what? That's okay. Know that your journey is okay. Somebody may have finished school before you did. Someone may found their career quicker than you did. Someone may have gotten in a relationship sooner or gotten married or had a baby sooner. Whatever the case may be, someone may have been able to identify what they wanted to know sooner. It doesn't matter. Whatever the case may be, your journey is your journey, and trust that as long as we are seeking God on that journey, He's going to guide us and we're going to be in the right place. So, reminding yourself that your journey is your journey. Remind yourself of your God given talents. Again, I say your talents, not the person you admire, not the person you wish you had his or her talents or gifts. Ask yourself, what is something that comes natural to you or that you enjoy that no one else enjoys? Now, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know. I can't identify. If you don't know, like I said before, the best place to identify our worth and our purpose is to ask God. Ask God to reveal those areas of our gifts, our talents, abilities that we may not be able to identify right now. Once God does reveal those to you, please begin to cultivate those areas. How do you cultivate those areas? By either practicing, by taking classes, educating, finding someone who already does that particular thing or activity or ability. Seek them out, or and if you are able to, ask them some questions. If you are able to, if somebody that's close to you or responds to you in messaging. If not, learn about them just from this lovely thing called the internet. But that's how you start to cultivate and understand and grow the gifts and abilities God has given you. Okay, remind yourself it is within you because there is greatness in you. The next point I want to discuss is how to rise over doubt. And the word rise is an acronym. Each letter stands for something. R stands for regain focus. Now you have to be honest and transparent and say, when you ask that question, where is my focus? What am I focusing on? Am I focusing and taking up time and energy and mental space on things that are not benefiting me, growing me, or helping me get to my goals? And you have to be honest with yourself if you are focusing on the wrong things. Regain focus on God and not our circumstances. I'm going to say that again. Regaining focus on God and not our circumstances, because our circumstances will cloud our vision. It can cloud our hope. It can cloud our direction. So regain focus obviously on God. He's going to give clarity, direction, and peace. And then again, asking yourself, what is taking up my time, my energy, and my mental space? And change that where it needs to be changed. Second thing, I stands for initiate. Initiate action where needed. Now that means looking at our time. Where are we putting our time? Is there something we need to do physically, tangibly, that we need to make a different type of decision on something? And that could be anything from changing different various relationships, identifying, obviously with spending time with God and talking to Him about the next move, career move. What does that look like? What does that look like for ministry? What does that look like? Even also when I say initiate action, is there a conversation that needs to happen? Do you need to push past that feelings of uncomfortable feelings and have a conversation or speak up about something? So that's what I mean by initiate action where needed. Identify those areas of your life where action needs to be implemented. The next thing, S, stands for self-control and self-regulate. That means controlling our emotions and our actions, not allowing our emotions to control our actions, not allowing our emotions to override responsible choices. Now, we're human. We're going to feel, we're going to get frustrated, we're going to get upset. So I'm not saying, oh, be happy all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when we do have those emotions, remind yourself emotions are indicators. Emotions are indicators of change or something that needs to take place. And so identifying, okay, I have an emotion, going back to what do I need to do about that emotion? If I have control to do it, but making sure we have self control, walk in self control and self regulation. Whatever those emotions, identify healthy coping skills to work through those emotions, but not allowing our emotions to put us in a space that we don't want to be emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. So making sure you self regulate and have self control. E stands for expressing gratitude. As far as, again, we're talking about rising over doubt, expressing gratitude. It's going to be very important to going back to regaining focus. Again, we live in this thing called life that it can be very frustrating, very discouraging, just life happens. But expressing gratitude on a regular basis will help us regain focus on the right things and remind ourselves, hey, there's things that may not be the way we exactly want them to be right now, but we have a lot of things that maybe other people don't have. I do this thing called a focus on the good journal. Focus on the good journal. And what that is every day, well, I try to do it every day, but mostly every day I will write down, okay, focus on the good. And what that means, it means identify something that happened today that was pleasant, made me feel good, made me smile. And again, when I say that, the focus on the good, they may be small things. They may not be grandiose things that we would hope that, we won that $1 million or whatever the case may be, or that, we got the job we were looking for. No, it could be something simple as somebody let me cut in front of them in the grocery store. Someone that I didn't know gave me a compliment. It could be those small things. It could be I had a wonderful time spending time with my family. It could be something of the simple things they say. So focusing on the good, expressing gratitude. Again, that is for the acronym RISE: over doubt, regain focus, initiate action, have self-control and self-regulate, and express gratitude. The last point I wanted to make on this particular episode is overcoming doubt of God. And I said three, and I made it the three R's of overcoming doubt of God. The first one is to remember his promises in his word. That's why it's very imperative, friends. We cannot do this thing on our own. We cannot live this life on our own. People are going to let us down. Circumstances are going to let us down. Sometimes we might even let ourselves down. So remembering God and his promises in his word. How are we going to know his promises? By reading his word, meditating on his word, seeking out his word. So remembering the promises of God to help overcome doubt and what the Bible says. The next R is reminding self of God's past provisions. Reminding self of God's past provisions. And that means taking a look back over our life. Some of you have probably heard taking a look back over our lives and reminding ourselves of when God has brought us through, or when God has done the things that he said he was going to do. And again, you might be like, I've been waiting in this particular situation, so I can't pull back anything. But I'm talking about just in general, something that this was of God. So reminding yourself of that. The last R is ruminating over God's wonderful character. Ruminate means to continue to think, to continue to allow it to go in your mind and process in our thoughts. Think about it. We ruminate over stuff all the time. Going back to, are we ruminate over the right things? And so ruminating over God's wonderful character. What do we know about God's goodness and his character? I mean, think about all the wonderful friends you have, wonderful people in your life that you care for, those people who are genuine and authentic. You think of their character. So ruminate over the character of Christ, the character of God. What is his innate character of love? His character of he cares for us and he wants the best for us. And it may not always look like the way we hoped. So ruminating over the character of God. So again, the 3 R's of overcoming doubt of God is remembering his promises in his word, reminding self of God's past provisions, and ruminating over God's wonderful character. Friends, again, all of us have probably experienced doubt in some shape, form, or fashion. It's real. We're human. We get frustrated. We get discouraged. But I want you to know that even in the midst of that doubt, that we can choose to regain focus. We can choose, what am I going to do with these emotions? Where do I need to take action? And how can I continue to express gratitude while I'm in this space? So remember, friends, you are more than overcomers. You are more than an overcomer. You are victorious in this situation. And whatever that situation may be, remind yourself that things will not always be the same. The one thing that does change is change. Okay. Things will always change in some particular way. We may not know how it's going to change, but change always does happen. So until that time, I pray that you encourage yourself, friends. Stay encouraged. Remind yourself who you are, your worth, and continue to know that you are loved. Thank you, friends, for the time that you have spent on episode 7. And I look forward to talking to you again on the next episode with my special guest. All right. Thank you.